Welcome back. You're with us here on Verdict 2019, and what a verdict it has been. Emphatic and one way for the NDA. It's been a big, big win which has come through for the NDA at this point. I think we have Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, one of the biggest investors in India, joining us right now on the phone line. Do we have him? I think, yes, we do. We do have him. Shirin, you want to take it over?
Well, let's very quickly welcome Rakesh. Rakesh, thanks so much for joining us. This is what the markets were expecting on the back of what the exit polls said, and that's the number that's flashing on our screens. First, your reaction.
Well, balle. I mean, it's a...
Well,
I don't know, forget the fact that I support the BJP. It's a vote for continuity. I think people have voted for death of crony capitalism, and, bogus secularism and vote bank politics. I think it's, I won't look at it only from the point of view of the victory of Mr. Kerry. It is we must acknowledge it as a way of change of thought of the Indian race. That casteism is dying, that aspirations are coming to the fore, that nationalism is coming to the fore, vote bank politics is coming to an end. So I think it's a very, very significant election, not only from the point of view that Mr. Modi has won, and the BJP has won, and the NDA has won, but it's a sea change in the way the country looks at it.
yes, while we will decode and analyze... I wanted to talk about that. The post-mortem of the election result will happen, Rakesh. But, when you spoke with us just 48 hours ago, you said that, look, like 2014, when the government was voted to power for the very first time, we saw a return of about 34%. That's not what we should expect for the markets. Given the fact that there is now going to be continuity, at least as far as economic policy is concerned, it is a decisive mandate. There's no question of coalition compulsions, etc. What would the expectation now be, given that we have seen the exit polls being borne out in reality?
No, I think the government, the BJP and its allies will be far more bold in doing what is necessary, rather than necessarily looking to the, looking to the next election. I think, Shirin, it's a landmark election, not only for what it is going to do immediately, but what it is pointing to where Indian politics is go in the next 4 5 days. I think it's a very important verdict, and I'm very happy that it is the upholding. People want government that works, government that's not corrupt, government that is not fearful to take action against anybody, however rich they may be, right? And it's also a vote for aspiration rather than casteism and vote banks, right? And
on that note, the first result is coming in, Rakesh. I'm interrupting you because we've got the first result. What you're seeing on your screens are leads, but the first result is in, and it's in from Bhilwara in Rajasthan. My last check was that the candidate that was leading had a margin of over 2 lakh votes for the BJP, and BJP has won. That's the first result that's come in. That's the seat of Bhilwara, and it's a saffron sweep across the state of Rajasthan, once again replicating 2014. Rakesh, I know most ministries have already chalked out their 100-day agendas. We have a budget, which is now going to be the next big economic event that people are going to be watching out for now that the political uncertainty is out of the way. What would your expectation be, and would you see that as the next big trigger for the markets?
Well, I think, I'm not looking at what's going to happen in the next 3 months, but I'm thinking of what's more important to India for the next 5 to 10 years. So I think you're going to have an economic policy which is absolutely prudent and what is required. I mean, I can't predict why. The market is going to find a lot of confidence. I think a lot of money is going to come for investment in the country, right? So I can't predict what's going to happen in the next 1 month or 3 months or 6 months. But I think whatever has happened is very positive for the country, for continuity, right? We know they say a known devil is much more better than an unknown devil. I don't mean to say the government is a devil, right? And I also want to refer to the conversation we had that day, that, when I said that democracy stops India's progress, I don't say that democracy is not needed. Absolutely, I want democracy in this country. But we also have to recognize that it slows things down. So I say, so be it. I'm not suggesting that we should not have democracy. But let us also recognize that democracy throws strikes. But so be it. That doesn't mean that we don't want democracy.
Oh, of course. There's no question of not wanting democracy. In fact, this is an entire exercise in democracy, and it shows very clearly that democracy is not in retreat in India. But Rakesh, I'm not asking you to predict the market move or what we might see from the government by way of policy action in the budget. What I want to know is, what would you like to see being prioritized? You know, if we talk about the context of what's happening on the NBFCs, etc., there is need for some decisive action on the part of the regulator as well as the government, perhaps aligned together. But let me ask you about where you would place priorities as we now move towards the big budget.
Well, I don't know about the budget. We are facing a difficult fiscal situation. There's no question about it, right? But my first and most important government is that we have to improve the ease of doing business. The moment we are able to do that, I think money will just pour into this country, right? And see, there is a lot of introspection to be done to think what to do, what not to do. But I think government will come with very positive and bold economic policy. This verdict will I think, embolden the government.
What's the market betting on for the portfolios? Finance Minister Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, what's the market betting on? Who's going to be India's next finance minister?
So, you know, Shireen, you're in Delhi, you know better than us. You know all the gossip.
Well, only two people know who's going to be part of cabinet. I'm not going to guess, but Prashant has a quick question for you, Rakesh. Hang in there.
Shireen, thanks for that. Rakesh, you know, you repeated a couple of times that it is good for the country. I've heard from many in the market, old-timers, that, well, it is great, and this is before the election, that it's going to be great news for the country if the government is back and in a huge way, but it may not be necessarily great news for the market. And the reason is that, and this is just feedback, that it may be more socialistic in its leanings. I mean, the focus will be on have-nots rather than the haves. I mean, how do you think about that?
I think the government is not going to be socialist, it's not going to be capitalist, it's going to be realistic.
Okay.
And the compulsion of the government for competitive populism will die, or will be diluted to a great extent. All this competitive populism which was coming because of politics, now the government, they are doing it because the Congress was insisting on it. So I think the pressure for all these, unrequired, I think we should have social expenditure. But I think we should teach people how to own, fish rather than give them fish. So I think this verdict, Mr. Modi was very much against farm loan givers. So I think he will get. I think overall it is. See, the people who are just against, the BJP and want to be negative, they find negativity in everything that happens if the BJP wins.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, just to, I'm going to maybe in a different way ask the same question which Shireen asked in terms of the thrust area, not in terms of the immediate policy decision, but we had the government focused on the medicine for all, the Ayushman Bharat, electricity for all, the gas, Ujjwala, there was PM Awas Yojana. I mean, is there one sector which you think needs attention and maybe the government will focus on? Some believe it could be drinking water, last mile connectivity. Your sense, Rakesh?
The government is going to focus on economic growth. So whatever aids economic growth, I think will be the emphasis of the government. It may be water, it may be anything, right? But I think growth is a panacea for all prosperity and for removal of poverty. But I'm very, very happy that it is the death of all these, post banks and all this pseudo-secularism that this country had gone into. I think the politicians should realize all that is no longer relevant, which for me is a great thing.
Rakesh, just in terms of key sectors to watch out for, now we already saw the move as far as public sector bank consolidation is concerned in this term of the government. The expectation is that perhaps we could see more of that play out, which has been the stated objective of the government. But since you talked about the fact that, this is going to be a government that is known to take decisive action, the hope and the expectation was that they may have even moved towards privatization. Would that be a fair expectation, a fair ask this time around, not just consolidation in PSBs, but perhaps even looking at going below 51%?
Well, I don't think they will go below 51%, but surely there will be considerable consolidation, which by itself will bring about a lot of efficiency. And I think there's got to be a lot of emphasis on building infrastructure.
Yeah. Infrastructure, that's been a big story that the government continues to want to focus on. Given where we see the infrastructure landscape, given the kind of debt problems that we've seen the infrastructure companies especially beleaguered, battered out of shape, where the markets are, where valuations are specifically in this sector, what would the expectation be, Rakesh?
Well, we will find the money. If we do the ease of doing business, we are going to find the money easily. I don't think there's any dearth of money or investment in India. We have to just channelize it. And this debt problems, of course, is, I think the NBFC thing is something we have to be careful of.
Yeah.
But I don't think after that there is anything to really, I don't know, then I think this problem of bad debts and NPAs will be behind us. And I think government...
Okay, you're saying the days of bad debt and NPAs... Yeah.
No, I think, Shireen, if there is... the government knows best because they will have the access to the account. If there is any big problem in the NBFCs, then it has to be taken as a systematic risk and government must act on it.
Since we were talking about flows, Rakesh, and you've been a big believer on unlocking of domestic capital that will find its way into the markets. Given the kind of victory that we've seen today, the hope for continuity, change, and the paradigm shift that you talked about, what is the expectation both in terms of domestic capital finding its way into the market as well as foreign flows?
Ma'am, you don't have to wish, it will flow. You take my word for it. I have no doubt about it.
No, I know you have no doubt. Give me what your expectation is in terms of the size and the quantum that we could expect from where we are today.
I told you, size and quantum, we know the reality. We can't give how much and, you haven't seen anything yet.
Okay. Surabhi, we haven't seen anything yet. You truly believe that we haven't seen anything yet as far as flows are concerned. Surabhi, go ahead.
Shireen, I just have one question for Rakesh. Rakesh, last 5 years, the logjam on private sector capex could not be broken. What is it that the Modi government perhaps can do or should do this time around to get the private sector to start investing, get that capital investment cycle up and running again?
Well, if growth takes place, investment will follow. If there is demand for products, investment will follow.
So then spurring demand is the need of the hour, in which case would you expect, a concerted effort by the Reserve Bank and the government? How do we get this going then?
No, I think Reserve Bank has to play a bigger role there by easing interest rates. That can be one big fillip to demand.
Okay, so rate cuts is the sort of solution, maybe one of the solutions which the RBI should pick up on. Just one question, and then I'm tossing it back to Shireen. Rakesh, do you believe that a lot of problems, in terms of, there's some of these stress groups, right? ADAG or, DHFL or, the SL group, Yes Bank, the environment as it becomes positive, deals will get done. Some of these groups will be able to raise money, sell off assets. Is that going to be a virtuous cycle in that sense?
I think even in ILF, a lot of deals were waiting for the election results.
Okay.
Once now that the election results are out, I think a lot of deals will take place, and seeing the continuity and the stability, I think a lot of foreign money will come both in the portfolio and in the direct investments.
Okay, fair enough. A lot of deals will...
Don't forget one thing, there are very few markets in the world left like India.
Okay, fair enough. A lot of deals will get done. Shireen?
Rakesh, before we let you go, yes, and that's Rakesh's point of view that because of IL&FS and of course the political uncertainty, that perhaps deal making had taken a backseat, which we perhaps will see moving now. But Rakesh, before we let you go, you've been taking a bit of a break on your own trading portfolio. Given what you're seeing on the screen today, feeling more enthused to come back?
No, not really. I know I want to limit my trading. I want to take things lightly.
All right, Rakesh, we will leave it there. Always a pleasure. Thanks very much for joining us. That's the big bull, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, saying that this mandate is a mandate that is going to be a paradigm shift, not just in India's politics, but also in the way that India deals with economic policy. We'll take a quick break, but the latest tally, 346 for the NDA, 291 for the